I told you that the more you chase something, the faster it runs from you. Would you believe me? Think about it. The harder you try to force respect, the less you receive it. The more desperately you ask for love, the colder it becomes. But the moment you pull back, the moment you say nothing, everything shifts. This is not luck. This is not magic. This is human nature. And if you understand what I'm about to reveal, you will never beg for attention, validation, or power again. Before we go deeper, subscribe right now. Because this channel is not about motivation, it's about mastery. And if you stay until the end, you'll understand why the person who appears to care the least often controls the entire room. Most people believe humans operate on logic. They think if they explain themselves clearly enough, argue well enough, prove their worth long enough, they will win. But that's not how the mind works. The human ego is not logical. It is reactive. It is defensive. It is wired to protect its sense of freedom at all costs. Tell a man he is free and comfortable, and he relaxes. Tell him he is restricted, and suddenly he becomes unstoppable. Tell him he can't have something, and now it's the only thing he wants. This is the paradox of control. The direct path almost never works. The moment someone feels pushed, their walls rise. The moment they sense pressure, they resist, even if your idea benefits them. The greatest strategists in history understood this. While others demanded, they designed. While others begged, they positioned. They didn't chase outcomes. They engineered environments where the outcome felt like the other person's decision. And that changes everything. Because once someone believes an idea is theirs, they will defend it. They will fight for it. They will own it. But if they think it's yours, they will question it, resist it, undermine it. This is the architecture of influence. And what I'm about to share with you are 13 laws of reverse psychology. Not party tricks, not cheap manipulation. These are frameworks that bypass resistance, disarm ego, and redirect desire. But understand something clearly. If you try to use these while you are emotional, needy, or insecure, they will destroy you. These tools demand self-control. Without discipline, the blade cuts both ways. We start simple. The first law is the illusion of choice. No one wants to be controlled, even when control would benefit them. The ego craves autonomy more than it craves logic. The moment someone feels cornered, they rebel. The amateur says, "This is what we're doing." The strategist says, "Here are two options. Both options lead to the same destination." Imagine telling a child, "Go to bed now." Immediate resistance. Now say, "Do you want to sleep in 5 minutes or 10? Suddenly there's cooperation. The child feels powerful. In reality, the outcome was never in question. Adults are no different. The vocabulary is more sophisticated. The pride is stronger. But the psychology is identical. In negotiation, never trap someone with a single path. Offer 2 doors. Door 1 is what you want. Door 2 is slightly less appealing, but still acceptable to you. When they choose door 1, they feel intelligent, independent, in control. But you built the hallway. You are not forcing, you are framing, and framing is power. The second law is the forbidden fruit. There is nothing more attractive than what feels restricted. When freedom feels threatened, the mind reacts with intensity. It wants to reclaim control. It wants to prove capability. If you tell someone, "You need this," they hesitate. If you say, "This probably isn't for you," their ego flares. You've felt it yourself. When someone says, "You probably wouldn't understand," something inside you tightens. You want to prove them wrong. You want access. Scarcity amplifies value. Exclusivity creates desire. If you want attention, don't overoffer yourself. If you want someone to invest, don't make it easy. Common things are ignored. Rare things are pursued. Even now, if I told you to stop watching because this might be too intense for most people, part of you would lean closer. You'd want to see if you're strong enough to handle it. That's reactance. The ego hates being limited. So instead of chasing, create space. Instead of convincing, question. Instead of selling, slightly withdraw. Let them qualify themselves to you. The third law is strategic surrender. Most people think influence means winning arguments. It doesn't. Arguing hardens positions. Push someone, and they push back. It's basic physics applied to psychology. So what happens if you stop pushing? When someone attacks your idea, instead of defending it, agree calmly. Amplify their concern. You're right. It might fail. Maybe we shouldn't change anything. Watch what happens. They prepared for battle. They expected resistance. When you remove it, they lose balance. Often they'll begin arguing against their own caution just to restore equilibrium. You didn't win by force. You won by absence of force. Sometimes the most powerful move is stepping aside and letting their momentum carry them exactly where you wanted them to go. And we're only getting started. In the next part, we go deeper into silence, mirroring, ego triggers, and the subtle psychological levers that separate amateurs from masters. The fourth law is silence. We live in a culture addicted to noise. Everyone explains, everyone defends, everyone overshares. And because of that, silence has become rare and powerful. When you speak too much, you give away leverage. You reveal emotion. You provide material for others to analyze, challenge, or dismantle. But when you say less than expected, you create tension, and tension makes people uncomfortable. Here's what most men don't realize. The human mind hates a vacuum. When there is silence, it tries to fill it. When you ask a question and someone gives you a half answer, don't rush to speak. Hold eye contact. Stay calm. Let the silence stretch. Watch what happens. They begin talking again. They clarify. They reveal more than they intended. Sometimes they even negotiate against themselves, just to escape the pressure of your quiet. Silence is not passive. It is active control. The one who can endure silence the longest usually controls the outcome. The fifth law is the mirror of identity. Every person sees themselves as the hero of their own story. They are not focused on you. They are focused on who they believe they are. If you want influence, don't argue with their identity. Align with it. But there is a deeper layer. Don't mirror who they are now. Mirror who they wish they were. Call someone responsible, and they'll act responsibly to protect that image. Call someone strong, and they'll behave strong. Call someone fair-minded, and they'll make fair decisions to stay consistent. You're not manipulating their logic. You're protecting their ego. I know you're the kind of person who values loyalty. I know you're smart enough to see the bigger picture. Now they are trapped, in a good way. To disagree with you would contradict the identity you just handed them. People will sacrifice comfort to protect self-image. Understand that, and you understand influence. The sixth law is the subtle challenge. Never underestimate how deeply the ego needs to prove competence. If you directly ask someone to take on something difficult, they hesitate. But if you suggest it may be beyond them, everything changes. I was going to ask you, but it might be too complex. I'm not sure this is your kind of risk. If delivered calmly, almost as concern, it triggers something primal. Now, it's not about the task. It's about their status, their capability, their pride. And pride is powerful fuel. But this must be subtle. Too aggressive, and it becomes insult. Too obvious, and it becomes manipulation. The tone must feel protective, not provocative. You are not attacking them. You're underestimating them just enough. And they will move mountains to prove you wrong. The seventh law is the anxiety of total freedom. People say they want freedom, unlimited choice, no restrictions. But complete freedom is overwhelming. It creates uncertainty, and uncertainty creates anxiety. If you tell someone, "Do whatever you want, I don't care," something strange happens. Instead of celebrating, they question, "Why don't you care? Why are you not worried? Why are you so calm?" The partner who controls with jealousy appears insecure. The partner who calmly grants freedom appears powerful, because indifference signals abundance, security, options. When nothing is forbidden, rebellion loses its thrill. When you don't cling, you become harder to replace. The eighth law is strategic weakness. Most people try to appear perfect, sharp, intelligent, in control. But perfection creates competition. It raises defenses. Sometimes, appearing slightly flawed lowers them. Ask for clarification even when you understand. Pretend mild confusion. Invite explanation. In their eagerness to demonstrate superiority, they reveal information. They expose strategy. They relax. Underestimation is a weapon. In history, generals survived by appearing weaker than they were. In business, leaders gather insight by asking naive questions. When someone believes you are harmless, they drop their guard. And the moment someone drops their guard, the balance shifts. The ninth law is constructive pessimism. We live in a world obsessed with fake positivity. You can do anything. Just believe. But empty optimism feels shallow. And deep down, people know it. When someone says, "I don't think I can," don't immediately argue. Instead say, "You're right. It's going to be difficult." Most people wouldn't handle it. You validate their doubt. You show realism. And strangely, that realism ignites determination. When something is framed as easy, failure feels embarrassing. When it's framed as nearly impossible, success becomes heroic. Men don't want participation trophies. They want dragons. Point at the mountain. Admit it's brutal. Admit it might break them, and watch them start climbing. Because challenge activates pride, and pride moves mountains. In the next part, we go deeper into planted ideas, contrast framing, controlled incompetence, and the most dangerous law of all, withdrawal. This is where power stops being subtle and starts becoming undeniable. The 10th law is the implanted idea. This is where amateurs lose control and masters gain it. If you tell someone exactly what to do, they feel commanded. And when people feel commanded, they resist. Even if your idea is brilliant, even if it benefits them, the ego whispers, "Why should I follow?" But when the idea feels like it originated inside their own mind, something extraordinary happens. They protect it. They defend it. They nurture it. So instead of giving answers, you ask calibrated questions. Instead of saying, "We should cut expenses," you say, "Have you noticed how our competitors are adjusting their budgets lately?" And then you stop. You let the silence stretch. You let their mind connect the dots you intentionally placed in front of them. Hours later, or days, they return with their solution. I've been thinking, maybe we should restructure our budget. You nod. You agree. You support. You don't claim credit, because control is more valuable than applause. When they wear the crown, but you whispered the thought, you win without resistance. The 11th law is contrast. The human brain cannot evaluate anything in isolation. It only understands value through comparison. If you want someone to agree to a moderate request, first present an extreme one. Not because you expect the extreme to succeed, but because it redefines the battlefield. Imagine asking someone to work every evening this week. They refuse immediately. Then you say, "All right, what if we just do tonight?" Suddenly, tonight feels reasonable, manageable, even generous. But if you had started with tonight, they might have hesitated. You anchored their perception at the extreme. The middle now feels safe. This principle applies everywhere. Negotiations, relationships, business, always set the frame first. Whoever defines the scale controls the decision. The 12th law is controlled incompetence, and this one is uncomfortable. If you perform every task perfectly, you become the default solution. If you solve every problem, you inherit every responsibility. If you always say yes, you carry the weight until you break. Sometimes the strategic move is to step back, to allow small failures, to not be the hero every time. If you fix the issue once flawlessly, you become permanently assigned. If you respond instantly every time, instant becomes expected. Scarcity increases value. Overperformance invites exploitation. This doesn't mean laziness. It means selectivity. Protect your time. Protect your energy. Protect your focus. Let a few plates fall, because when everything always works, no one understands the cost of your effort. The 13th law is withdrawal. This is the most dangerous law and the most powerful. Human beings value what they fear losing. If you are constantly available, constantly responsive, constantly enthusiastic, you slowly become background noise. Predictable, taken for granted. But when you reduce access, when your energy pulls back, when your attention becomes less automatic, something primal activates. Did I lose them? What changed? Why do I feel the shift? Suddenly they lean in, they overcompensate, they initiate. But listen carefully. Withdrawal only works when it is calm. If you pull back with anger, it looks like punishment. If you pull back with drama, it looks like insecurity. But if you pull back with composure, it signals strength. It communicates, I am fine with or without this. And that message commands respect. Now pause for a moment. As you listen, maybe you're imagining how to use these laws on your boss, on your partner, on your competition. But ask yourself something deeper. Why do you feel the need to control outcomes so badly? Because control feels like safety. Because unpredictability feels threatening. Because rejection feels personal. The desire to manipulate often comes from fear. Fear of insignificance, fear of abandonment, fear of losing status. And here's the paradox. These laws only work when you are detached from needing them. The man who truly doesn't need approval naturally applies these principles without effort. He is scarce because he has purpose. He is calm because he has options. He is silent because he doesn't need validation. If you try to use these techniques while desperate, people will sense it. They may not articulate it, but they will feel it. Neediness leaks. Desperation smells. True influence begins internally. In the next part, we go deeper into the mindset behind the laws, the detachment, the emotional discipline, and the internal shift that turns tactics into identity. Because without that foundation, everything collapses. Here is where most men get it wrong. They hear strategies like these and immediately think tactics, lines to say, moves to make, psychological buttons to press. They treat influence like a script, but influence is not performance, it is presence. If you try to use reverse psychology while internally anxious, while secretly needing approval, while desperately hoping the outcome goes your way, it will leak through your voice, your timing, your body language, and people always sense incongruence. You cannot fake detachment for long. The real power behind every law you've heard so far is emotional control. When you offer choices, it only works if you're genuinely fine with either one. When you withdraw, it only works if you're truly okay walking away. When you stay silent, it only works if the silence doesn't make you uncomfortable. If you are using silence while panicking inside, it becomes awkward. If you withdraw but secretly hope they chase you, it becomes transparent. If you pretend not to care while obsessing internally, your behavior will contradict you. Power begins when your internal state matches your external action. That is why the most influential person in any room is often the calmest. Calmness signals options. Calmness signals self-trust. Calmness signals that you are not desperate for validation. Think about the man who truly does not need the deal. He negotiates differently. He listens more. He pressures less. He waits longer. He can walk away. And because he can walk away, he rarely has to. This is the deeper layer most people never reach. Reverse psychology is not about controlling others. It is about mastering your own impulses. Your impulse to explain. Your impulse to defend. Your impulse to chase. Your impulse to overgive. Every time you resist those impulses, your power increases. Let's talk about over-explaining. When someone misunderstands you, your instinct is to clarify immediately, to defend your reputation, to prove your point. But over-explaining lowers perceived status. It communicates insecurity. High-status individuals are comfortable being misunderstood. They trust time to correct perception. They don't rush to clean up every rumor or correct every assumption. That restraint creates gravity. Now think about rejection. If someone pulls away and your instinct is to chase, pause. That chase shifts the balance. It signals fear of loss. And fear of loss places the other person above you in the hierarchy. But if someone pulls away and you calmly refocus on your mission, something different happens. They feel the absence. They feel the gap. Your reaction defines your value. The man who reacts emotionally is controlled by circumstance. The man who responds strategically controls the frame. And frame control is everything. Whoever defines the meaning of a situation controls the emotional temperature of the room. If a deal falls apart and you react with panic, everyone feels instability. If a deal falls apart and you calmly say, "Understood," there will be other opportunities. You instantly elevate your position. Abundance mindset is not a motivational phrase. It is leverage. When people sense that you have alternatives, they treat you differently. When they sense that you need this specific outcome, they feel your dependency. Dependency erodes authority. This is why the most dangerous law of all is internal indifference, not apathy, not coldness, but grounded independence. The ability to want something without needing it, to pursue without clinging, to care without collapsing. That is the mindset that makes every external technique effortless. Because when you no longer fear loss, you stop behaving in ways that cause it. You stop over-texting. You stop over-promising. You stop over-explaining. You become measured, intentional, difficult to read, and mystery creates intrigue. We live in a time where everyone overshares. Social media broadcasts every thought, every emotion, every reaction. In that environment, restraint becomes magnetic. When you don't reveal everything, people lean closer. When you don't react instantly, people speculate. When you don't chase, people question. Curiosity is a powerful hook. The less predictable you are, the more attention you command. But unpredictability must be grounded in stability, not chaos, controlled stillness. In the final part, we're going to bring everything together, not as manipulation, but as transformation. Because the ultimate reverse psychology is not what you do to others. It's what you do to yourself. Now we arrive at the part most people never want to face. You've heard the laws. You understand the tactics. You see how silence creates pressure, how scarcity creates desire, how detachment creates leverage. But here is the uncomfortable.